Le bouteille juste une fois, on le met parce que...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and every letter in between, it's another warm welcome to you, and you too. It is the Total Energies Under 17 Africa Cup of Nations Qualifiers. This is brought to you by COSAFA, of course. We are on match day 2. We are about to witness match number 5. A warm welcome to the UJ HW Miller Stadium. We are in Gauteng, Johannesburg, South Africa. Coming up is Comoros up against Mauritius. This is how the two teams will start their match, starting with the home team, Comoros. Jersey number 1, Khalid Mlengo. Jersey number 2, Soedri Elia Saeed. Jersey number 3, Kiv Barak Rijali. Jersey number 5, Noah Menyoki, jersey number captain, my captain. Jersey number 6, El Maine Ahmed. Jersey number 7, Yasid Musa. Jersey number 9, Yasid Abdul Chakou. Jersey number 10, Yanis Mohammed. Jersey number 12, Morat Saeed. And jersey number 15, Nyofo Junior Boysat Saeed. Jersey number 19, Kailen Mabarak Fared Saeed. And the reserves for Comoros. Jersey number 4, Moilad Mari. Jersey number 8, Yasid Moides Solihi. Jersey number 11, Fasiel Saeed Ahmada. Jersey 13, Yaqib Hassani. Jersey number 14, Yosani Hassani. Jersey number 16, Mario Ibrahim Rayani. Jersey 17, Salim Saeed Kahim. And jersey number 18, Imani Atotumani. The head coach there for Comoros still is Coach Samiruddin Yusuf. Moving over to the opponent of Mauritius. Jersey number 1, Corneli Matthew Morgan Augustin. Jersey number 2, Jean Aldo Ravira, captain, my captain. Jersey number 3, Emmanuel Elidori Laurent. Jersey number 5, Jean Grekei Horkasi. Jersey number 6, Aaron Clifford Minga of Lyon. Jersey number 8, Christmas Julian. Jersey number 10, Jean Jesus Christ Alexandria Villela. Jersey number 11, Elian Agate. Jersey number 12, Jeremy Ashton Pierre. Jersey number 14, Emmanuel Hansley Anna. And jersey number 17, Daniel Samuel S.U. Behari. The reserves for Mauritius. Jersey number 4, Wayne Darren Olivier. Jersey number 7, Ashwit Safari Sunase. Jersey number 9, Nicholas Patrick Bandre Fano. Jersey number 13, Luis Nigel Noah Marie. Jersey number 15, Anish Balia. Jersey number 16, Yanir Shelley Adurone Ramkuti. Jersey number 18, Noah Vincent Adi Pamasi. And jersey number 20, Nigel Nochet Madi. The head coach there for Mauritius is Coach Abu Tualef Fatemonde. Your match officials for this match is man in the middle, Muemedi Tamul Khan from Botswana. First assistant, Lamek Mbula Pili from Malawi. Second assistant, Mweke Benjamin Mankaku from Botswana. And our fourth official is Sionyani Joyce Tepe, also from Botswana. This is the Total Energy Under 17 Africa Cup of Nations COSAFA Qualifiers 2024.
Good morning to you on what is a grand day, a day of reckoning for Comoros and Mauritius, whom will soon spark their Group C campaign. And we are live from the UJAW Miller Stadium for the second clash at this ground today before South Africa and Botswana kick off at 3 p.m. The 2024 COSAFA Under-17 Championship churns out another barnstormer of a match between Comoros and Mauritius. Their dream destination is Côte d'Ivoire, but that dream begins in a place that has a football soul. What a beautiful backdrop that is of the city of Johannesburg. We're on top of the copy, hoping to bear witness to a feverish contest between Comoros and Mauritius. This is the Mauritian team warming up earlier on. Dori Laurent, Kerwin Hortense, Fong Leong and Alexander Viala. Exceptional talents to look out for. There's Noah Rabaye and B. Harry, who is likely to lead the line for Mauritius for this clash. Together with Mauritius, Comoros have the honor of kicking off day 2 of the Total Energies Under-17 AFCON COSAFA qualifying event. For the young men, that is. This championship is definitely scattered with talent, and the good news is that this is but only the beginning of a very fantastic tournament that is the Under-17 COSAFA Championship. So these two island nations and their island boys enter this competition as dark horses that aspire to shatter the status quo. Usually this competition over the years has been dominated by the likes of Zambia and South Africa and Angola. Comoros and Mauritius are a part of that dark horse collection that might just back themselves to go all the way in this competition. Well, this match is the Group C opener between Botswana and South Africa, but that only kicks off at 3 p.m. Comoros and Mauritius will be enjoyed by a handful of spectators that have headed into the ground, but we expect a slightly bigger, more sizable crowd for that 3 p.m. collision between South Africa and Comoros. But a real nice turnout for this contest at noon between these two island outfits. And as we all know, in times gone by, for teams gone by, Comoros and Mauritius just didn't have the quality and perhaps the confidence to claim regional success and continental qualification that comes with it. This year could be different. The tides could be shifting and the football gods could choose to favor either one of Comoros or Mauritius. The Mauritian bench has already taken their seats as we wait for the players to make their way out onto the battlefield. Before this contest, South Africa ladies were in action against Malawi in the Under-17 Girls COSAFA Championship, and South Africa won that contest by sliding 4 goals past Malawi. So may the goal show continue as we head over into the boys section. Highly skilled prospects from Lesotho, Angola, Mozambique and Malawi have already announced themselves on this stage. And now it's time for the X-Factor players of Comoros and Mauritius to make themselves known. You never quite know what to expect when Comoros and Mauritius enter the fray. Here come the 8 flag bearers. The Mauritian flag on the right, Comoros on the left. It's a big occasion, this one. Big occasion in the young careers of both the Comoros unit and the Mauritian cohort. Only time will tell as to how they are able to manage the pressure and the scrutiny and the expectancy of a nation. Both these nations possess a similar style, a style that is a blend between flair and ferocious defensive focus. One can assume that in a short tournament such as this, a positive start is absolutely crucial for much needed short-term momentum. And here they come, led out by the CAF soundtrack. Comoros and Mauritius get ready to ignite their Under-17 COSAFA Championship campaign. And that is the match ball. Colourful ball, and of course we'll be hoping for a colourful contest between Comoros and Mauritius. The men in green up against the men in black and red of Mauritius. The one major prerequisite to gain entry into Africa's flagship competition is to ascend to the status of regional finalists. Only 2 teams will get to book their flight to Abidjan or Yamoussoukro. So do Comoros or Mauritius have the moxie and motivation to become one of those 2 finalists? But before we delve into the contest, time for the 2 respective national anthems, starting with Comoros.
And now the national anthem of Mauritius.
These players must really be itching to go. Their families and friends back home will be watching this matter with bated breath and willing hearts. Fate will definitely play its part, but the young talents of Comorian and Mauritian descent have to commit their entire psyche and being to one cause for now, and that is to qualify for the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations that will be hosted in the nation of Cote d'Ivoire. So Comoros, dressed in all green, with their enterprising attackers and midfielders, hoping to unlock a very tough Mauritian backline. All of the players donning Comoros colours today actually play their club football in France, so may we expect the perfect blend of styles, the mix between African flair and European composure. Khaled starts between the sticks, and his captain Noah is just ahead of him, together with Said, Murad and Rijali. Mohamedi Tabologang of Botswana is the lead official for this fantastic fixture, joined by the two captains in the center for a simple toss of the coin, that being Noah and Ravina. Number 2 and the number 5, who are of course not only the captains but two very important center halves for either Comoros and Mauritius, that will definitely have a major role to play in this second match of the day, the third match of the men's category in the Under-17 COSAFA Championship. Yanis Mohammed is definitely an exciting product in the midfield for Comoros, but how will he fare against this Mauritian team? Abu Twaleb, the head coach of the Mauritian Under-17 unit, has lined up his troops as follows. Augustine dons the gloves. The back four includes Dory Laurent, Hortense, Ravina and Ashton Pierre. Mauritius have also decided to match Comoros with a midfield 3, that being Alexander Vial, Fong Leong and Anahel Anna. And at the pointy end of the pitch, they also carry a significant trio of threats, that being Bihari down the left-hand side, Noah Rabaye through the middle, and the man wearing number 11, Elinio Agatz. Safe to say that both cohorts are up for the challenge. Slight breeze in the air, a bit of cloud cover to take away some of the scorching heat we experienced yesterday. The University of Johannesburg has so kindly opened its doors for a spectacular youth football show, both here and in Soweto. The St. Emmett's pitch, located within the sport complex, mostly hosts university contests and club football matters, but today it's two fascinating Under-17 men's internationals coming your way on a multitude of platforms, and all eyes on Mohamedi Tabologang to get this game started. And there he blows his whistle and we are underway. Comoros taking on Mauritius in a Group C affair from the UJ A.W. Miller Stadium. It's only day 2 of this riveting tournament, so do buckle up for what should be a roller coaster this afternoon. The noon kickoff is always quite unique, and speaking of uniqueness, Comoros and Mauritius do carry a unique kind of challenge. There's Noah, he's donning the captain armband for Mauritius this afternoon. starting alongside Murand in the heart of that Comorian defense. It's a good challenge in the air there by Elinho Agat. Here he is, trying to get past Said. But Said wary of his threat. And they'll probably have to double up and make extra sure with Elinho Agat always looking to dart in behind the defense. Here's Noah Rabaye. In a short tournament such as this, with only 3 group matches and 2 knockout matches, your start in every single match is absolutely imperative. A good start, should I say, is absolutely imperative. Vicious through ball attempted from Noah. Here's Augustine. Khaled. Noah to Murad. So Comoros attacking from right to left if you are just joining us now. Does land at the feet of Khaled. Augustine. Here's Dory Laurent. Good early pressure from Comoros. Led of course by Yazid, who is leading the line for them. The foul will look to be as tricky as possible, as effective as possible down the right-hand side, and the same can be said for Yazid Musa. As Alexander Viel takes some of the tension away. Dory Laurent is a fullback that likes to get forward, but very capable in the defensive third, leaving the free kick responsibilities on that occasion for his goalkeeper, Augustine. Goes to Laurent. He's a tricky customer, is Alexander Viel. As for Anahal Anna, the man on your picture, he's starting on the right-hand side of a midfield 3. At the base of that midfield for Mauritius lies Fong Leong, a more brutish and in-your-face midfielder. There's a cross, might have been a slight deflection on that cross. The referee, the linesman, says no. So it's just going to be a simple goal kick in the end for Mauritius and Augustine. Rajali trying to get into the thick of it as soon as possible. Might take some time for these two sides to really establish their confidence in this match. Really play without shackles. We saw 2 wonderful fixtures just yesterday. The first one between Lesotho and Angola. The second between Mozambique and Malawi was a spectacular watch. Let's hope that continues throughout the afternoon, both here and of course in Soweto. Dory Laurent, so far in this match, with less than 5 minutes on the clock, most of the action is occurring in the half of Mauritius. The men in red and black finding it difficult as of now to exit their own half. But it might just be a matter of time before their midfield trio of Alexander Viel, Fong Leong and Anahal Anna find their feet. Here's Khaled. We saw some defenders, some centre halves tally up a goal or 2 just yesterday, so Noah and Ravina of Mauritius as well as Cohen Hotans will definitely be licking their lips at the prospect of potentially scoring a goal. We've seen a few wonderful set-piece maneuvers throughout the tournament so far. A lot of sides basing their game around the set-piece. Kellen Farrell Sayed tries to win the ball back for Comoros. Bit of miscommunication here at the back from Mauritius, but they have the confidence, the coolness to play out of the back, and they got a little bit lucky that time around with the deflection. Comoros opting to tighten the screw as quickly as possible. Here's Ashton Pierre. Throws it down the line. Noah. Kicks it beyond the halfway line. Here's Alexander Viel. This time the free kick goes the other way against Mauritius. So these two sides still in the process of feeling one another out, still collecting data. The challenge in the air from Yanis Mohammed. Falls to the other number 10, Alexander Viel, who goes long almost immediately. So the other two players in this group happen to be the hosts and three-time champions, South Africa, as well as one of the last edition's semi-finalists, that being a charged-up Botswana outfit. So this group is as tough as it comes. And because it's so early in the tournament, it's anyone's game and anyone's group. And these two will definitely be looking to get off to a flying start in this COSAFA Under-17 Youth Championship. Yanis Mohammed seeks to sneak and snake his way through. Not to be. Murand. Here's Noah. His stronger side is his left side. Murad stronger with the right boot, more capable with the right boot, although he is rather comfortable on his weaker side as well. First task for both Comoros and Mauritius is to, of course, accumulate 3 points in this clash to get past the group phase and then to set up a very enticing semi-final match. Those two semi-finals will decide the identity of the two nations that will partake at next year's AFCON Under-17 tournament in the Ivory Coast. So 4 very important games if you exclude that final. And it's a short little sprint of a tournament. And that's why the start is so vital. Here's Dory Laurent. Mauritius edge a few yards, a few meters closer to the Comoros penalty box. Neither side have been able to really make significant attacking entries so far. There's Alexander Viel. Hasn't been afforded too much time and space on the football. Ravina decides to spread the play. It's very congested in the center of the park. Noah making his presence felt, not only against Fong Leong, but against Anahal Anna as well. Goes against him, goes against Comoros, and Mauritius look to pounce. It's a very tight and taut and rigid game so far. But as the limbs and the legs start to tire, spaces will start to appear. Ashton Pierre from the throw-in. Elinio Agat was to go on the outside via the byline. Just took the ball out in the process. Saw a marvelous goal by the Angolan right winger yesterday, Eliseu Francisco. Similar type of profile to Elinio Agat, although Agat is slightly taller than Francisco. But he has the same innate qualities. And Halana to Alexander Viel, who goes for goal. First shot on target of the contest. And it's a bit of a feeler from Alexander Viel, and Khaled took it quite confidently in his grasp and launches Comoros in the other direction. No foul. Does his utmost best to try and keep it in, and he just about does. So Mauritius so far edging Comoros when it comes to the possession stats. About 10.5 minutes into this contest, we've only really witnessed one significant strike on goal, as these two youthful teams are still in the process of settling the nerves. Good battle in the air there, this time by Kerwin Hortz-Hans. Might it fall to Elinio Agat? It doesn't. Sayed does exceptionally well for Comoros. Here's Yazid who gives chase. And the goalkeeper of Mauritius, Augustine, chooses safety over anything else and just puts the ball out into touch. Wise bit of goalkeeping and avoiding any possible embarrassment. Tough challenge there right in front of the Comoros bench. But Yanis Mohammed took it well. Back up on his feet. He does have some spider taped the backside of his leg, maybe the hamstring area. So he might just be nursing a bit of a knock. His presence in this Comoros team, in the Comoros midfield, is absolutely key. Plenty of airtime on that cross. Disappointing delivery in the end from Yanis Mohammed, who was fouled and did take the responsibility of taking that free kick. It was just a bit of a waste in the end. Augustine. Alamel loses to Fong Leong. Cohen Hotans times his header. These two playing a bit of air ball, bit of beach football. Alexander Viel. Excellent ball, one player in the box. That one player being Noah Rabaya. Will it find him? No, it's going to be a corner kick for Mauritius. It really did look exceptionally promising after that wonderful ball from Alexander Viel. Comoros were a little bit too over-eager and left some space in behind, some space that Alexander Viel was alert to. And now they've got a consolation. A corner kick taken by Dory Laurent towards the edge of the box. Flamboyant attempt, and then a cracking shot is blocked. Comoros can hit in the opposite direction. Excellent pace from Yazid Musa. Waits for support. No foul now for Comoros. Will this be the opener? Gargantuan opportunity is spurned by Nofal. Wonderful counter attack by the men in green. Very quick, very precise up until the last moment. That Mauritian backline was stretched. It was a 3v2 in favor of the men in green, but Nofal just couldn't make it count in his attempts to rifle that ball into the top corner of the net. So it's safe to say that the nerves have definitely been quelled. And the shackles are off. Nice little flick on from Anahal Anna, but a flick on that simply reaches Khaled in the end. So compared to most nations in this tournament, Comoros are relatively new to the Under-17 COSAFA Championship space, having produced their first team for this event in 2019. And in 2020, they failed to meet regulatory requirements and were left unbelievably frustrated, as you can imagine. And in the next two events, Comoros were absent. So this does indeed mark their return to the competition after 4 long years with a new and exciting batch of talent. Elinio Agat has gone over to the other flank. But he'll have to do some defending now together with his Mauritian colleagues. Bihari was hurrying Rijali on that occasion. Yazid rises. Keep an eye out for that contest between Yazid and Cohen Hotans of Mauritius. Two tall, two physical players that definitely don't back down from the 50-50 duel. And yet again, as we witnessed earlier on, Dory Laurent relinquishing free kick taking responsibilities to his goalkeeper, Augustine, just to provide additional support, additional numbers. 's, for Mauritius, as Noah hoofs it into the sky.
3 minutes, 3 minutes. 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 3
It's well taken down by Anahal Ana. Bihari tries to turn. Rajali wise to it. Here's Fong Leong. Now Anahal Ana. Elinho Agat is challenged. Comoros wanting a throw-in, and they'll get that throw-in. Noah, the Comoros captain, has looked very neat and tidy up until now. There's Yassid Musa. And Elinho Agat using the touchline, the byline, as an extra defender. Yazid holds it up to good effect. Hefty challenge. Right in front of the fourth official. And we're going to see the first booking of the contest. Elinho Agat receives the first yellow card of the match. And we haven't even played 20 minutes. Very late, and did leave quite a bit on Saeed. Studs up challenge right on the bridge of Saeed's left foot. Has left him in a bit of pain, but he seems to be all right now. And that can happen. Players can be overexcited, over-eager. And on that occasion, Elinho Agat was exactly that. And he has been booked for that challenge. Free kick opportunity then for Comoros and for Noah to drill it in there. Didn't have the necessary elevation to reach the box of Mauritius. It's a bit of an underwhelming outcome. So the Comoros coaching staff, led by Samradin Yusuf, is in discussion with the fourth official about the reintroduction of Saeed, as you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, now out of your picture. As Noah again absolutely pumps it out into touch. And they just want their man to rejoin the action, to Comoros. But Saeed has run back down into the tunnel. Perhaps in need of a bathroom break, not too sure. And in fact, I think Saeed was instructed to take off his tights. And he obliged with the referee, Mohamedi Tabalokhan. And now he's returned to the action. Somewhat of a quiet start between Comoros and Mauritius so far, compared to the opening match we witnessed yesterday between Angola and Lesotho. There was fireworks earlier on in that battle, but in this one, the opener is still yet to be found. Poor giveaway from Noah, and then another poor giveaway from Anahal Ana, but he does win it back. Here goes Anahal Ana. Still Ana for Mauritius, looks for the cutback. Blocked in the end by Murand. Determination nearly yielded a goal for Mauritius, nearly yielded a goal for Anahal Ana, who got the better of Noah and then of Yanis Mohammed as well. And he was definitely looking to combine with Bihari and set it up for him to tuck it away for Mauritius' first goal. But it wasn't meant to be, and they've got their second corner of the bout. In swinger, very good delivery towards the far post, and it's that man again, Anahal Ana, that got his head first to it. Just couldn't quite knock it back across the face or divert his attempt goalwards. So this match definitely appears to be an open contest, one that is quite difficult to predict. 20 minutes in, and it's Comoros 0, Mauritius 0 in our noon kickoff in the COSAFA Under 17 Boys Championship. Remember, 12 teams have entered this tournament, only 2 will progress to the AFCON Under-17 tournament. The 3 top teams in each group, together with the best placed runner-up, will access the final 4 stage, which will kick off next week, Wednesday, the 11th of December. High boot there from Nofal. And I mentioned just a few minutes ago that neither one of these 2 teams are really willing to back out of those 50-50 challenges, even when studs appear to be closing in on your face. Here's Yanis Mohammed for Comoros. Absolutely drills it to Yazid. Almost made it impossible for him. Did make it impossible for him to trap it. Does make amends, does Noah. Now for Rijali, who does well. And Nofal's pass just takes a nick of Dory Laurent. So a lot of the action occurring in the center of the park, 10 meters beyond either side of the halfway line. We've seen a few set-piece opportunities, a few speculative attempts, but nothing noteworthy just yet. Nearly given away there by Alexander Viel. So Mauritius have had an interesting relationship with the Under-17 COSAFA Championship over the years. And interesting doesn't even begin to tell the story. They finished 3rd in 2017, finished 3rd, or 4th should I say, in 2018 in what was their home tournament, but Mauritius haven't been back since, until today, that is, and what is a very significant day for the men in black and red. Anahel Anna approached by Al Amin, who hasn't seen too much of it so far. That could change. Here's Elinio Agat. He goes to ground. Noah remains on his feet, but that's brilliant from Agat again to recover and lead the Mauritian attack. It's a decent delivery, but Morand was well stationed. Noah clattered after finding a pass to Yazid. It's definitely a physical encounter, this one, between Mauritius and Comoros. Nofal smelt blood, and he latched onto that loose ball. And because of his endeavor, Comoros have been awarded a free kick after a very exciting bit of play between both teams. Just got there ahead of Dory Laurent, who was slightly caught out of position. So the second yellow card has been dished out. The second Mauritian player to be booked is Dory Laurent, joining Elinio Agat in the referee's black book. And now that Mauritian defense has some work to do, Comoros, as well as some of their big boys, have an opportunity, a set piece to attack. There's a player that goes down in the box. That player's name is Kalen Farrell Said. So I think that signal from Mr. Tabologang indicates that we will be taking a quick cooling break, a tactical timeout for both Samradine Yusuf and Abu Twaleb Fatima More. Both sets of coaches will be partly pleased with the kind of start they've witnessed up until now. Both sides have carried a significant threat, although the threat hasn't really been prolonged. When this tournament kicked off, and as of right now, no one expects Comoros or Mauritius to attain Under-17 AFCON qualification. Partly because they are often counted out, but it's also due to the fact that not one of these two nations have been able to achieve real regional success. And therefore AFCON qualification at this level has been unattainable. But that was then, and here they are with the new era of talents. Mauritius have looked quite composed at the back. Anna have led them in the attacking third together with Elinio Agat. They've looked most dangerous down the right flank, down the left-hand side of Comoros, in which Saeed and Yazid Musa operate. And you just feel the score of the first goal. The first goal will carry extra significance. Samradin Yusuf is a bag of nerves. Doesn't give much away, but a lot of emotions will be swirling around in his system, and the same can be said for the Mauritian head coach Abu Twaleb Fatima More. An experienced coach at this level, coaching another batch of new and exciting Mauritian players. So we've about just passed the halfway mark of the first half. And neither one of these two sides have been able to land the first real bruising blow. Nice little spin from Yazid Musa. But a spin that yields possession for Mauritius. Noah mops up at the back for Comoros. Here's Nofal, who's now playing down the left. So Yazid Musa is occupying the right flank temporarily. And that's good forward play from Yazid. Breathing down the neck of Ravinha, the captain of Mauritius, who had to put it out of play. The ball just didn't carry enough pace for it to go out of play by itself. So he took the precautionary measure. It's going to be a Comoros corner kick. One that Yanis Mohammed will come across to take. And the men in black and red have decided to defend this corner zonally. That's a bit cheeky from Yanis Mohammed. Nicking an extra few centimeters, but he's brought the ball back to its mark and delivers a really good set piece. Blocked literally off the goal line. Mauritius survive a real scare. Elinio Agat. Is that the opportunity, the chance that will ignite Comoros into life? Seem to be stretched for numbers at the back here though. Cleared from Murad. That was a nearly moment for both Comoros and Mauritius. Expert delivery, pinpoint delivery from Yanis Mohammed. A wonderful header. And I think it was Ashton Pierre, together with his goalkeeper Augustine, that got their bodies in the way to repel that chance from Kaylan Farrell Saeed.
Off time! Off time!
Another sloppy bit of play. Yazid Musa is on the charge on the overlap. Comoros have exited second gear in the last few minutes or so. Will Mauritius choose to match them, or perhaps surpass them? Elinio Agat just sees this ball swerve out into touch towards the medical staff. A half an hour has come and gone in this Group C affair. The type of match that Botswana and South Africa will definitely be keeping a key eye out for. Noah. But so far, these two teams haven't given an inch to one another. Foul. Hits the turf quite harshly after that robust challenge from Ravinha. His eyes were fixated on the football. Got it out, and it's a Comoros throw-in. Delivered by Said. Swing and a miss from Ashton Pierre. And there was another absolutely ferocious slide tackle that flew in. But in the eyes of the referee, Mohamedi Tabolokhang, Yanis Mohammed got enough on that sliding challenge. Free kick the other way this time. Mauritius in no real rush. Here's Ravina. Drops kindly for Anahel Anna, who fails to make it stick, but he pounces on the loose ball here. Anahel Anna, wonderful through ball. Just has too much on it, and the offside flag was raised in any event against Bihari, who was just off the mark a little bit too soon. But a wonderful eye from Anahel Anna to spot that little gap. It's a staggered back line from Comoros, and they'll have to watch out as this game ticks on by. Those kind of gaps between the two centre-halves and the centre-halves between the full-backs will definitely be exploited by the likes of Anahel Anna and Alexander Vial if they aren't shut down by Comoros. Khaled, a little bit of backspin on that goal kick. Here's Alamin. Lovely clip ball. This looks really promising. Kalen. And then it's flicked on by Yazid. Just wide. Back to front in next to no time from a simple goal kick from Khalid. Comoros was nearly in and they nearly scored. Kalen, Farel Said flicked it on nicely, and then Yazid tried to loop it over the head of the onrushing Augustin. Just couldn't quite get it on target, but it's always difficult with the goalkeeper bearing down on you. Perhaps Yazid was just concerned with his own safety. Didn't really fully back himself with that opportunity. Nonetheless, it is a chance that will go down as missed. Here's Alamin. Now Alexander Vial, who'll try his absolute best to keep it in. Won't do so when Comoros have an opportunity to recover and fall back into their shape. Mauritius are seen to be playing with the wind in this first half. That advantage will lie with Comoros in the second stanza. The second stanza that should be a whole lot more open. Yanis Mohammed. Tunofal, who does well to control it, and then he's clattered. And it's another late challenge. Mauritius really do need to be cautious because they are started to rack up these yellow cards. Although it wasn't a challenge worthy of a yellow card, it still brought the whistle of the referee, and it's brought forth another free kick for the men in green. Yanis Mohammed seems to be a distance away. Will he back himself to go for goal, or will he just clip it into the penalty box? He goes for goal, does Yanis Mohammed, and blazes it over the crossbar. You can't miss him with that eye-catching haircut. This time a call goes against Comoros. Here's Fong Leong, waiting for the run of Bihari. Excellent block once more from Noah to deny Mauritius a wonderful opportunity. Two players were waiting in the 6-yard box for that cutback from Bihari. Cutback that just didn't arrive because of the swift alertness from the Comoros captain Noah. The deliveries from the corner kicks from Fong Leong and then Elinho Agat on the near side have been good so far from a Mauritius point of view. And they'll be looking to keep that momentum up. Fong Leong for Mauritius, in towards the box. Good challenge. Number of bodies went flying in there and then went flying back down onto the turf. There's a certain physicality that Mauritius are playing with, that Comoros are struggling to deal with at times. And it does seem like Alexander Viel was perhaps the last one to get his head on that one. Maybe even Ravina, the Mauritian captain. So the player down in the box for Comoros is Murad, who's also looked very astute up until now. As for Rijali, he's also just being stretched and nursed by the medical staff. A whole lot happened in that last corner kick from Mauritius. Drilled into the perfect region in the box. A whole lot of bodies were anticipating the delivery. What a pass that is from Mohammed to Nafal. It's going to be a corner kick. It is. The last touch coming off Ashton Pierre, who heroically blocked that last attempt from Kalen Farrell Sahid off the goal line together with his goalkeeper Augustine. So both these sides look most likely to score from a corner kick, which is not all too common. Yanis Mohammed, another really decent delivery. First contact made by Kalen Farrell Said. And Mauritius can counter, and counter they do. The Comoros were wise enough just to hold two men back to deal with a potential counter-attack, to nip it in its bud. So from one goalkeeper to the other. Here's Ravina. Miscued clearance from Said, but no harm done whatsoever. No harm done whatsoever in this first half. 7 or so minutes to go of normal time. Murad nearly spun himself into some trouble there, but worked himself out of it. So have Comoros. Noah. Slight bit of slice on that ball forwards. Yes, Said. Elinho Agat did some good defensive work there. Might he be rewarded with an attacking opportunity? There's another starts up challenge, this time from Al Amin, and he did get the ball, but because the studs were showing, Mohamedi Tabolokhang was perhaps obliged to blow his whistle. Got most of the ball, but there was some intent in that challenge, and you always run the risk of leading the sliding tackle with your studs up. Noah. Elinho Agat tries to take it. Chance here for Mauritius. It's not cleared from Comoros. Eventually it is by Yanis Mohammed. Shaky stuff that time around. This is definitely a crucial passage of play. A passage of play that neither one of these sides can afford to switch off. Great clearance from Augustine. Bihari for Mauritius. Rijali just poked that ball out of play. He seems to be in some real discomfort. He was nursing a bit of a knock a few minutes ago after that Mauritian corner kick. And now muscle fatigue is starting to take its course for him. He's been quite active in this first half, both defensively and offensively. And We saw a handful of players being stretchered off yesterday due to hamstring injuries or muscle strains, generally speaking. And it seems like that trend is likely to continue this afternoon, as unfortunate as that may sound. So might the coach of Comoros, Sarmadin Yusuf, be forced to go to his bench? Perhaps he just overstretched, did Rijali, in his attempt to recover the ball against Bihari. But I highly doubt that he'll be able to continue. It seems to be a bit of a recurring injury for him. So not a lot remains in this first half Group C clash between Comoros and Mauritius. Just for the time being, the men in green are down a man. Throw-in taken quickly by Augustine Pierre. Anahalana going via the inside. Shut out. But Ashton Pierre keeps the move alive. Ball over the top. The goalkeeper has come out, but the flag has been raised, and the ball has, in any case, not been put into the back of the net. Opportunities are starting to arise with relative frequency for Mauritius. Clever little ball that was from Anahal Ana. And as you can see on that angle, there was a marginal offside. Khaled just beyond the halfway line. And again, the referee blows his whistle, calling for some medical help. Because this time around, it's Dory Laurent that landed back on the surface quite harshly. Might just be a little bit winded. It's a really tough challenge again from Kalen Farrell Said, who was leading with his knee, leading into the midriff of Dory Laurent. So for now, it's 10 v 10 with 2 minutes or so to go. Shortly going to be 10 v 11 in favor of Comoros. Ahamada comes on to replace the injured Rijali at right fullback. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not Ahamada just takes Rijali's post at right fullback, or whether or not he occupies a different kind of position for Comoros. The head coach Yusuf might be required to shuffle his pack. There's a slip from Eleni Wagat. Now Yazid lifts his head and was looking to really drive at the heart of that Mauritian defense. That did look shy of numbers. Falls to Yazid in any case again. He puts it into the box. It's repelled by Ravina. Here's Anahal Ana, one of the standout players in this first period. Anahal Ana again. Retreats back to his goalkeeper. Augustine, who's only made that one significant contribution in this first stanza. Well, what has he done there? Gets away with one, does Augustine. This pressuring press from Comoros starting to take a toll on Mauritius. Alamin arriving late to a challenge. But Alexander Vial is bounced right back up. This has definitely been the most physical confrontation, the most physical encounter we've witnessed in this COSAFA Under-17 Championship so far. 2 minutes to go of the first half. Is there going to be one final twist in the tail of this first period? Ravina over the top towards Eleni Wagat, but it's comfortable pickings in the end from Khalid. Kicks it out of his hands. Is there going to be perhaps one more opportunity presented to either one of these two teams There's no better time to score than just before the half-time whistle. And it's the type of match that is really yearning for a goal. Comoros sorting to end the first half off on top. Bihari gets rid for Mauritius. Doesn't get it too far. Yazid Musa is dispossessed. Anahel Anna, cheeky little nutmeg. Yazid gets there first, ahead of Alexander Viel. Here's a gut. Another serious challenge. But Elinho Agat seems to be okay. Has already been booked. Saeed lucky to escape, and the head coach of Mauritius has also been booked now. So third yellow card that we've been privy to in this first stanza. 2 for the players, 2 for the Mauritian players, and 1 for the Mauritian coach. And that is the end of the first half. It's been a cagey affair between Comoros and Mauritius.
And that is the halftime.
The opener is still yet to be found between these two island nations. Comoros had their first major opportunity via a corner kick from that man on your screen, Yanis Mohammed. But due to the intervention of Augustine and Ashton Pierre, Mauritius managed to keep them at bay in that instance. And as for the men in black and red, they've also produced a few meaningful opportunities that on another day they could have and probably should have taken. But on the balance of play, a 0-0 scoreline is definitely a fair result after the first 45. And after the first 45 here at the A.W. Miller Stadium here at UJ, it's Comoros 0, Mauritius 0.
I don't want to talk to you, coach. No, sir. Thank you. Yeah,
November.
And we're back. It's day 2 of the COSAFA Under-17 Championships, and plenty of talking points and eye-catching moments have surfaced across town and here in Auckland Park. Zimbabwe and Eswatini are also embroiled in a COSAFA contest, and so are Comoros and Mauritius. And after the first 45, these two island nations have been at a deadlock, locked at 0-0. This game is definitely crying out for a moment of ingenuity, a spark of something special. Question is, will that arrive in this second half, or are we about to witness the first scoreless draw of this year's tournament? Mauritius up for the second half. Alexander Vial was quite boisterous, heavily involved in the proceedings in the middle of the park, in the midfield trenches, but so was Yanis Mohammed for Comoros. The men in green actually nearly scored after Yanis Mohammed's corner kick. Solihi comes on for Comoros, their second change, their second of 3 changes in this game actually. Moimala Madi also comes on to replace Said. So they've altered one of their midfielders and both of their fullbacks. Of course, the first change of Rijali in that first half was a forced substitution due to a hamstring injury, and Ahamada took his place. And we thought that Samradin Yusuf, the coach of Comoros, might need to reshuffle his starting 11, his tactical formation. And I think he's done exactly that with those 2 substitutions before the start of the second half. So he's turned to his bench already in search of an impact, player. Here's Yanis Mohammed. This time it's Comoros that will attack from left to right, and Mauritius right to left. Led by that man on screen, Anahal Ana. Nofal is on the run, so is Yazid. Good challenge from Cohen Hortans. Matched Yazid stride for stride. And now he's got to tend and fend this throw in from Ahamada. Ahamada to Nofal. He crosses it across the face of the goal, across the penalty area to absolutely no one dressed in green, and it's pounced upon by Elinho Agat, who conjures up a throw in for Mauritius. So Mauritius and their head coach Abu Twaleb Fatima More are yet to make a change, unlike Comoros, who have already made 3 alterations. Only one ploy, one modus operandi will end up being successful. That's a neat spin from Yazid Musa. Does bring about a free kick opportunity for Comoros. They've had plenty of those free kicks quite a distance away from the Mauritian penalty area in the first half, and that trend seems to have continued and crossed over into the second half. And his legs just got caught between the legs of Ashton Pierre on that occasion. And now he's gone up to ready himself for this Comoros set-piece delivery. Together with the 3 changes that Comoros have made in terms of the introduction of the 3 substitutions, the captain's armband is also now being donned by Yazid. So there's a change in captaincy for Comoros. A lot of change in this game for them, but no change so far on the scoreline. Khaled And the substitute is dispossessed. Eleni Wagat for Mauritius. Tries to get in behind, tries to fire in a cross into the box, but he was denied that opportunity. If there's any player that has the star power to open the scoring for Mauritius, it is Eleni Wagat. Alexander Vial. So just to confirm with you, that one midfield change is a very enterprising young man wearing the number 8 by the name of Yazid Monze Sohili for Comoros. Speak of the devil, here he is. Has a towering presence to him and a wonderful passing range. But that ball just creeps out. Despite a neat little Rabona finish from Yazid and a sarcastic celebration from the Comoros captain, who has led the team from the front. Let Solonyane, former Kaizer Chiefs, Supersport United midfielder, of course, here to watch this contest, but one would safely assume that the South African and Botswana match is the match he has definitely come to see and enjoy later on. Murad goes back to his goalkeeper. It's a sloppy clearance from him, lands at the feet of Anahal Ana. A few step-overs in succession and then he's fouled, almost brutally so, by Comoros, one of the other substitutes, Moimala Madi. Clear as day for the referee. And again, it's a very central free kick, that's quite a distance away from the 18-yard area. But it's an opportunity nonetheless for Mauritius. It's played short from Dory Laurent. They're opting to change the angle of the cross, but it yields absolutely nothing once more. Both these sides lacking a bit of cutting edge in the final third. That header cracked the face of Yazid. Caught him flush in the face. And you can hear the instructions being barked out in French by Abu Twaleb Fatima More. Good header from Yazid to Yanis Mohammed. Yazid again being sandwiched between two Mauritian players. Manages to squeeze a pass out to Yazid Musa, who's fouled from behind. And he's feeling the brunt of that challenge. Decent little passage of play that was definitely a little naughty from Cohen Hotans. The ball was already gone. Yazid Musa was already gone. But he stuck out a boot just to deny any progression Comoros might enjoy. That's their third yellow card of this game. Dory Laurent has been booked. Cohen Hotans has been booked for Mauritius, and so has Eleni Wagat and their coach. As for Yazid Musa, he's definitely played with a lot of promise in this game, but his contribution has been limited so far. So Comoros were very unfortunate not to have progressed into the semi-final stage the last time they entered this event, which was 5 years ago. And in that edition, their under-17 side picked up 4 points in a group that contained Mozambique, Lesotho and Angola. But it was their big loss against Angola that ate away at their goal difference and denied them the opportunity of progressing into the Final Four. A fate that they would likely want to avoid in 2024. Mr. Tabolo Khalang is not exactly happy with something. As a player goes down here, and we might see another yellow card. First Comoros player to be booked is their substitute, Soili. So he'll have to walk a tightrope for the remainder of this contest. Another set piece then. Up towards the Mauritian goalkeeper, Augustine, who does well to punch it away. The linesman here on the near side spotted an offside. Augustine was nice and quick off his goal line. Got two very strong fists behind the ball. Comoros were just beaten by that offside Mauritian trap. Here's Dory Laurent under tremendous amount of pressure. Mafal does exceptionally well to win the ball high up the field for Comoros. And the cutback is parried and spilled by Augustine. Not convincing goalkeeping. Great stuff from Noah, who's not playing with the captain's armband. Noah Rabaye sets Elinio Wagat off. He's done exceptionally well to keep that ball in play, but his cross goes out. It was a lung-busting run from Elinio Wagat, but unfortunately for him it fell on his weaker side and he needed to try and hoof it in, hook it in. Failed in his attempts to do so. Here's Soili. Yazid Musa, almost impossible to control that pass. Elinio Wagat using his low center of gravity to good effect. Noah with that wonderful left boot of his does fall to Madi, and nearly the captain, Yazid. It's worth noting that when Mauritius last fielded an under-17 unit for this competition, the nation of Mauritius was made proud by a very resilient team, a team that lost their first group match against Botswana, but rallied to defeat the Seychelles and Namibia. But when they met South Africa in the semi-finals, they just simply ran out of steam. Ahamada has a number of options to consider. Yazid off his shoulder and then twice off the knee of Yanis Mohammed. So far, Mauritius is number 8. The player that's leading the line for them in this collision, Noah Rabaye, has been left a little bit too isolated. The supporting actors really haven't been tucked in quite close behind him. He's been forced to do it alone, to chase it alone. 3v3 situation here. It's put out by Kerwin Hortense. Apart from that yellow card, has looked incredibly resolute for Mauritius up until now. And exceptionally sturdy. But the house of cards could come tumbling down if there's one minuscule loss of focus. 1-2 between Rabaye and Fong Leong. Doesn't work out for Mauritius. Good battle between the two number 6s. Alamin got past one, but not past Anahal Anna. Big breaths by Alamin before he took that throw. Yazid has run well for Comoros in this game, but he's been unable to latch on a few half chances that has been presented to Yazid. This game has really been as tight as possible. Perhaps the way that both coaches would have preferred it. They need a goal in order to sail to the top of Group C before Botswana and South Africa kick off at 3 p.m. sharp. Here's Alamin. Taken out and goes to ground. Anahalana on the half turn. The pass was definitely on, definitely doable, but couldn't quite locate Bihari. Mohammed. He'll look to locate Nofal, who stopped playing and then he went to ground, and then the linesman waved his flag, and now Comoros have a much closer free kick to the goal mouth of Mauritius. The type of free kick that they were perhaps yearning for in that first interval. Dory Laurent has already been booked, and he just leant into Nofal on that occasion. And this could very well be a poignant moment in the contest. Comoros definitely do have a height advantage over Mauritius for the most part. So as for Yanis Mohammed, it's all about locating the tallest man in green. And for the tallest man in green to nod home. Augustine, the goalkeeper in orange, dressing his and organizing his three-man wall, which serves its function. Mohammed somewhat makes amends for that disappointing free kick. Here he is once more. And he's also been unable to really pull the strings in the middle of the park like he has in the past. It was nearly a remarkable outside of the boot pass there that nearly landed at the feet of Nofal, who gives a thumbs up to Yazid Musa. Noah, calmly done. Free kick to Mauritius this time. It's been a real to and fro contest in every sense of the phrase. Slightly soft, but a free kick nonetheless. Awarded for Anahal Ana and Mauritius. And the captain of the Mauritian team, Ravina, is presiding over this free kick. Ravina for Mauritius goes for goal, and again it's a complete and total utter waste. The likes of Cohen, Hortense, Dory Laurent, Fong Leong, Ravina and Ashton Pierre all made their way into the box, but expended energy for no good reason. Mohamed Tumadi, now Nofal, now Musa, who wriggles his way through the lines, but not through Alexander Vial. Now Anna, loose touch from him, gathered by Alexander Vial. Bihari pulls up. Oh no. That's majorly concerning for Mauritius. Comoros have lost a player due to injury. And now I think Mauritius are likely to suffer the same fate. Comoros are not obliged to stop, and they continue playing here until Ravina kicks it out into touch. And the coach of Mauritius is not at all pleased with Comoros or their coach, because they continue to play, continue to attack. They're only obliged to stop if there's a head injury, but Bihari was totally immobilized after he went to ground, after pulling up. Danny Bihari has played with quite a bit of determination, and one seriously hopes for his case, and from the Mauritian point of view, that is not the end of his COSAFA Under-17 Championship, because it will be a cruel way to go. Abu Twaleb Fatima More having an earful. And he wasn't exactly pleased because his player was out. They're a man short, and Comoros took the opportunity for a cooling break and to relay tactical instruction. But the same opportunity was not afforded to Mauritius. So as of right now, Abu Twaleb Fatima Mode is a bit bemused on the Mauritian technical area, feeling as if things aren't exactly unfolding in the way that he planned it to.
And coming in is jersey number 15, Asnaf Balia.
Balia will take the place of Bihari on the left-hand side here. He's been thrown into the deep end by his coach with approximately a half an hour to go, maybe even just less. More than enough time for the substitute to produce an impactful little cameo. Murad looks for Yazid, who shrugs off one and then failed to make contact on the follow-up. Good show of strength, but no great show of guile. Sat up, but just didn't quite catch it while the ball was on its way down. Very big opportunity for Yazid, spurned by the big number 9. This match really is up for the taking. First position in Group C is up for the taking. Someone will want to grab this game by the scruff of the neck. Yes, Fong Leong gets past Murad, but certainly not past Noah. And I think Murad has also gone down with a bit of an injury. It's been the name of the game so far. So play is going to be stopped here. Ravina presses pause, Mauritius presses pause. Because Murad is feeling something in his thigh or hamstring, it's difficult to say. And for about the 4th time in this game, the stretcher comes out to play. It was a really great run from Fong Leong of Mauritius that time around. And he got the better of Murad Said. And Mauritius are now grabbing the opportunity to take a water/cooling break. Remember, Mauritius have already made the one alteration, and one would safely assume that Abu Twaleb Fatima Mode will make another. I think that gentleman was sleeping. Time to wake up, good sir. Gary Laurent. Here's Fong Leong. Alamin is occupying the centre half position in the absence of Murad, even if it is just temporarily. Noah's gotten himself into the world of trouble, but Mahdi, the substitute midfielder, the substitute defensive midfielder comes across. Here's Ilienio Agat. Angel Ana. Massive moment this is. Offside flag stays down. Ilienio Agat has his cross blocked by Noah. So it's only the first match, and already both cohorts have had to deal with muscle fatigue, which begs the question, how are they going to fare throughout the tournament with at least 2 more matches to go? It's a demanding tournament this is. For a place in AFCON is on the line. Flicked away by Khalid. Here it is for Balia. Opted to let the ball run out of play, choosing that was perhaps the better option. Dory Laurent. That's not great from Ravina. Might he be punished by Comoros? It's a frank no. Dory Laurent again. Closed out by a wall of green. Ball exchanging hands quite frequently in the second half. Neither side have been able to lay down a massive statement or gauntlet. That's a gorgeous ball to Balia. And he feels the consequences of that challenge. You can quite literally hear the huffing and puffing from both himself and Ahamada. Both these teams absolutely going full tilt at it for maximum points in Group C. It's still scoreless with 20 minutes of normal time to go between Comoros and Mauritius. It is balanced on a knife's edge, and it could really swing either way. 2 of the so-called big 3 in this competition are yet to begin their campaigns. Angola are the team to chase in Group A. Zambia are the team to beat in Group B. And South Africa are the favorites of this group. But that does not mean that the likes of Comoros, Mauritius, Mozambique, Malawi, Namibia, or Zimbabwe, for instance, can spring a surprise. Tournaments like this one are never really easy to predict. And there's always an opportunity for a dark horse to exit the group stage and to produce a performance of immense magnitude on the semi-final stage. And if you plan to watch how the rest of the day, the rest of this tournament is going to unfold, it's worth mentally noting that South Africa and defending champions Zambia were the last 2 COSAFA affiliated nations to have featured at the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. When they did, however, they didn't last very long, as both South Africa and Zambia were eliminated out of the same group. And the most memorable and recent achievement of a COSAFA nation at the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations is a bronze place finish by Angola at the 2019 edition of the showpiece event. How these 2 sides, how Comoros and Mauritius would love to partake in the 2025 Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. But in order to get there, will require a whole lot and a little bit more.
And coming in is jersey number 12, Mora Said.
Comoros and Samradim Yusuf are going to make a few more alterations. Imran Atumani is the next to be introduced and to be thrown into the lion's den. It's definitely an opportunity that he can't turn down, an opportunity that he will seek to grasp at and cling on to with both hands. Is Atumani going to be the hero for Comoros? Or do Mauritius have a hero of their own? A hero that is yet to raise his hand Speculative hit. Does cause a corner kick. Unforced error from Augustine. Saw it from a mile away. Just couldn't quite cling on to it. It was a shot from the halfway line. A little bit of a skiddy bounce off the pitch. And Augustine just turned it around for a corner kick. This is an absolutely massive moment. Set pieces are absolutely central to both Comoros and Mauritius. What can come of this one? Yanis Mohammed gives the signal. Excellent delivery in. Free header. Opportunity not taken by Ahamada. Perhaps just closed his eyes at the crucial moment and point of contact. It was a free header. And he misjudged his nod completely. Just clipped his hand. But in close proximity was Ravina, the captain of Mauritius. Antoisi is the other change Yusuf has decided to introduce. Here goes Ahamada for Comoros. Now Atumani. Great sliding tackle by Balia. Wasn't brought on for that, he was brought on for the goals. But it counts nonetheless, and it was really important on that occasion for Mauritius. And this is perhaps the optimal time to introduce a few changes. Fong Leong suggests that he doesn't need the stretcher, but it will nonetheless come out. Star of the show in this contest has probably been that orange stretcher. Final quarter to go in this Group C opener between Comoros and Mauritius. A goal now would send either technical area into an absolute frenzy. But it seems like it's going to take something special or something beyond belief for either one of these two teams to capture all 3 points. Ahamada to the substitute, Antoisi. Chance at a retake. A double change again for Mauritius. Noah Marie replaces Lyon in the middle of the park.
Another player coming out, jersey number 8, Christmas.
As for the other change, it's a change up front. Paramase replaces Rabaye, whose impact was limited. Can the substitute give Mauritius something else, something a little bit more zesty and tangible? So Marie and Parmase of Mauritius, the latest 2 additions into this contest. So the usual recipient of a cross, Yazid, is going to take this free kick now. Perhaps backing himself to go for goal, but it's definitely more suitable, more wiser to whip it in into that corridor of uncertainty between the goalkeeper and the defensive line. Which will Yazid choose to do? Goes for the latter, towards the far post, in fact beyond the far post. And it's another underwhelming set-piece routine from Comoros. Augustine to Ravina, who wastes no time in his attempt to get the ball forwards. Parmase. So the coaches have definitely done their bit. They've shuffled their pack, they've given their substitutes an opportunity to shine. All the young lads, the under-17s out there on the park, grab that chance. Will definitely make the lives easier of both these sides if either one of them are able to conjure up a victory this afternoon. No better way to start a group campaign off with maximum 3 points. Baliez hustled and hassled by Ahamada, but the free kick goes in the opposite direction. And the coach of Mauritius, Abu Twaleb Fatima More, can't believe his luck. And I'm also scratching my head a little bit. He's definitely injected some pace, some grit into the Mauritian team. It's another spill from Augustine. You can't afford to do that. And it was nearly latched onto by Yanis Mohammed. So Mauritius living dangerously, living nervously. So apart from the action induced by the players on the pitch, the heat and the management of conditions will have a massive role to play as this competition develops. These two sides, Comoros and Mauritius, may be used to humid, more tropical conditions, but the high-felt heat and altitude can be really testing and unforgiving if someone is not used to it. These two sides are certainly not used to these conditions. Marie to Doré Laurent. Finds a good ball. Comes off the boot and then the hand of Parmasse. But it's still Mauritian ball. Elinio Agat. Feeling the effects of this contest. He's tired, but he carries on and decides to be direct. But to no avail once more. So close, but yet so far for either Comoros and Mauritius. They've huffed and puffed without putting the ball in the back of the net. Decent flick from Yazid. Mahdi throws it in there. Yazid Musa still on the turf. Perhaps attempted to carry some favor from the referee, Mohamedi Tabolokhang. It's a useful ball. Goalkeeper Khalid comes out to get there ahead of Alexander Vial. Both goalkeepers will be absolutely adamant to cling on to their current clean sheet. It's probably not the perfect way to start the COSAFA Cup off, but a point is useful for both Comoros and Mauritius, especially if they are able to pick up a possible victory in their next group encounter. So this scoreline is definitely not the end of the world for either outfit. Hamada is stopped from taking that throw-in just because he wanted to nick a few yards when the referee wasn't looking, but the referee was looking. It was not to be caught out. Noah launches one up towards Yazid. Is it going to drop for Yazid Musa? No, it's going to fall to Atumani. Can't keep the ball within the playing lines, despite his desperation. So either one of these sides really brave enough to throw caution to the wind and throw the kitchen sink at it, putting their clean sheet at risk.
Substitution for Mauritius.
Time will tell.
Jersey number 10,
Another double change for Mauritius. Marde replaces the number 10, Viel.
And coming in jersey number 7,
Sunasi.
Ashwin Shafanish Sansani.
Come on, dons the number 7. So it's almost an entirely different team for Mauritius, at least half of them. Same can be said for Comoros. And it's been a disjointed kind of performance from both these sides, but that can change in an instant. Balia does really well, but then stops playing because he was anticipating the whistle from the referee. Ahmad has been really physical every time he's confronted Balia. And that time around, he was a little bit too overzealous. Bit of a reckless challenge, that one. So it's a worthy free kick for Mauritius. We've seen countless free kicks in this match, not only in the first stanza but also in the second. Neither one of them have been really pinpoint, except that one in the first half from Yanis Mohammed. Ana plays it short, and arriving at the edge of the box was Dory Laurent. It was on. Just leant back that ever so slightly, did Dory Laurent, the left fullback. When he saw it in his mind, he saw that strike traveling into the top corner. But again, it just hasn't been their day in an attacking sense for Mauritius. Same applies to Comoros, of course. Comoros camped in the half, camped now in the box of Mauritius, laid off by Yazid, then put back into the box. Yazid Musa tries to flick it into that far post region. Difficult to generate power from a header if the cross didn't have power in the first place. Yazid Musa still tackled by a conjunction of two Mauritian players, one of which being Dory Laurent and Marie. Speaking of, here is Marie to Dory Laurent. Not a lot of space to operate in. His margin for error was so small. Just got the pass wrong. The Comoros senior team has definitely served as a real motivation for this younger generation. Their role models qualified for AFCON 2025 with ease, and they are also at the summit of their World Cup qualification group. So in other words, they have set a high benchmark, a standard that these young players dressed in green would one day want to emulate. And as it pertains to the Mauritians, the under-17s are hoping to do what the seniors were unable to achieve this year, and that is to qualify for Africa's flagship tournament. In fact, the Mauritius senior team didn't even partake in the AFCON qualifiers this year. So will it be a match of what-ifs for both Comoros and Mauritius, for both Samradim Youssef and Abu Twaleb? And a match filled with regret. Ana. Still Ana. Seeking Balia. The Comoros number 1, Khaled, will just watch that ball go out of play. The second group match is almost always the defining result in the group phase. Comoros have the big test of facing the South Africans in their own backyard in their next match, which will kick off at midday on Saturday. And likewise to Comoros, the away team on the day, Mauritius, will have 2 days to rest, recover and prepare for their match against Botswana on Saturday afternoon. And as we all know, South Africa versus Botswana is the next featured match on the schedule, and for many it is the pick of the fixtures so far. The players and staff of both Comoros and Mauritius will be wise to watch that match for any possible clues that may surface before they themselves encounter South Africa and Botswana on the weekend. Do bear in mind that when the result of South Africa versus Botswana is certain and recorded, another riveting day of youth football lies in the wake for tomorrow. Malawi and Angola will spark day 3 of this competition into life, and then later on Mozambique and Lesotho will seek to record their first victory of the tournament when their meeting starts at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That's the main event on Friday. Can Yazid Musa be the main event, the star attraction of this match by conjuring up a goal? Seems very unlikely. Ahamada, Atumuni, now Marie.
Added time, 5 minutes.
A whopping 5 minutes has been added on. More than enough time for a winner to be nailed in. We saw a late goal yesterday in the clash between Malawi and Mozambique. Are we about to be witness to another? Well, that's absolutely poor, for lack of a better phrase, from Ravina. But he's tired, totally exhausted. He's been run ragged, and he's done well for the most part for Mauritius. But he's given away a corner kick to Comoros. A corner kick that can easily result in a goal, that can easily result in the match winner. It all really hinges on the type of delivery Yanis Mohammed will produce into the box. Yanis Mohammed, another in-swinger. Will it fall to a man in green? Another flamboyant attempt. This results in another Mauritian goal kick. Augustine. A minute and a half of the 5 minutes of stoppage time have been played. This time it's Mauritius that are going to launch an attack. Ahamada has done really well to shut down Balia in this second half, or in the second half of the second half. Dori Laurent goes to Balia, and there's Ahamada again getting the better of Mauritius's left winger. Sunasi. Mauritius wants a free kick on the edge of the box. The referee not in agreement, but instead he'll award a free kick to the quote-unquote visitors, on paper at least. And a yellow card has been dished out to Antuisi for that challenge that he really wasn't in control of. And there is the confirmation of the yellow card. The second player in green to be booked for this clash. It's without doubt been the most physical, most grueling contest we've witnessed up until now, and the match that has also seen the production of the most yellow cards. Of that, there is no question. So will Antuisi kick himself after this free kick? Mauritius will certainly hope so. He was involved in that earlier challenge on the edge of the box, right on the chalk line. And then a few seconds after that, niggled in. Slight change in the routine. Anahal Ana drills one in. All dealt with by the man that just recently picked up a yellow card. Throw in here for Mauritius. Just a minute of stoppage time remains, but that should be a little bit more if you consider the lengthy stoppage that was unveiled just a few minutes ago. Gorgeous turn, gorgeous bit of play from Anahal Ana. Strong contender for man of the match, as is Yanis Mohammed of Comoros. Only really the two real players that have tried to force the issue and have tried to play with a bit of flair, creativity and adventure. But it just hasn't been one of those matches, one of those afternoons, I suppose. Sunasi, he'll go for goal, he'll go for glory. And like the others that have come before him, it's just simply blazed over the crossbar, and it's a rather disappointing outcome to a somewhat dull encounter between Comoros and Mauritius. Very even between these two island nations, and they'll have to settle for a point each. Comoros were close to scoring in the first half after that Yanis Mohammed corner kick. Mauritius also knocked on the door, so did Comoros, but it just wasn't meant to be for either one of these two units. The coaches turned to their bench with regularity, with the introduction of almost constant substitutions in the second half, but neither side were willing to yield and bend over. Instead, it's a point that they are able to attain from their first Group C collision, with bigger tests to come on the weekend. One will have to wait and see if this point is a good one or a bad one for either Comoros and Mauritius. But it's full time here at the UJ A.W. Miller Stadium. It's Comoros 0, Mauritius 0.
Sorry. kickoff. Before kickoff.
20,000. So zingazikhuthi number 12,000. Josh!